Hello guys, I know it has been a while, but I'm back and I'm gonna give a schedule in a couple weeks so you'll know when a video will come out. Now then, let's start the Sasuke rushed at the two men. His Chidori was blazing and his aim was true at his brother. Itachi just looked at the charging Sasuke before catching his wrist. An explosion erupted and a hole appeared from the jutsu. The two Uchiha looked at each other, Sharingan active. One looked on with hate, the other with no expression. Naruto looked at the situation and balked. He knew that they had to get out of here. Naruto's clones attacked the two. The two men didn't even flinch and Kisame destroyed them all with a swing of his sword. The attack created a brief smokescreen. That's when Itachi felt a nerve on his hand get hit, making him release Sasuke. The smoke quickly cleared and the two were not there. Kisame let out a low whistle and actually smiled. So the kid used the smoke from his clones to get him and his comrade away. He's more capable than we thought, he said. Yes. However, he did not get far. Itachi said. He jumped out of the hole and landed on the ground. The second he landed, he deflected several shuriken from his left. He dodged a 3-hit combo before lashing out with a kick. Sasuke was sent flying, spitting out some bile as he flew. Naruto appeared and caught Sasuke. That's when he felt Kisame behind him. He quickly did some seals and vanished before he could get his hand on him. The two searched the area to look for them. That's when Itachi did some hand seals. Goten, Kaido Shikutsu. Opening earth rising excavation. Suddenly, the two were forced out of the ground and they slammed into an earth pillar. They groaned but managed to get to their feet. I am quite impressed, Naruto. With Kakashi as your sensei, I figured he would have focused on my brother, unless someone else trained you. Still, you are more of a shinobi than I assumed. Yeah kid, you have made 2 moves that any good shinobi would make when they know that they are outmatched. Kisame added on to the praise. However, you are making an assumption that Sasuke wants to escape. You could not be more wrong. Itachi finished. Naruto looked at his teammate. Damn it, he's right team. This isn't the time for your revenge. We need to get out of here. Naruto shouted. Stay out of my way, Naruto. You will not stop me. Sasuke shouted. Growling, Naruto quickly decked Sasuke. Putting him in a chokehold, Naruto tossed a few smoke pellets on the ground. When it cleared, they were gone. As Naruto hid under his Kakaremi no Jutsu cloak of invisibility technique, he attempted to choke Sasuke out so that he would calm down. Sasuke struggled against the hold, trying to break free. That's when those marks started to appear on Sasuke. Naruto began to lose his grip as Sasuke was freeing himself. Sasuke broke free and spun around, nailing Naruto with a very strong punch. Sasuke threw the cloak off him and revealed himself. Sasuke, using the power of the curse mark, turned his attention to Itachi and charged at him. The power he felt gave him some confidence in attacking Itachi. He threw a punch, which was dodged. That's when he felt incredible pain in his chest. It was from Itachi's fist. He grabbed him and threw him into the wall. Sasuke hit the wall hard and the pain increased when Itachi drove his elbow into his gut. Naruto shook the cobwebs out and rubbed his jaw. He swore that he was going to get Sasuke back for that punch. He got to his feet and looked on to see Sasuke get the stuffing knocked out of him. He looked ready to make a move when a voice spoke out. Sorry kid, but you're going to have to get past me if you want to help him. Kisame said. Naruto cursed and started to channel his chakra only to feel it leave him. Naruto looked shocked until the movement of Kisame's weapon caught his attention. Not this time kid. Naruto growled and tried to think of way out. That's when he heard Sasuke scream. Whoa, Itachi is pretty vicious today. Well kid, it's been fun and all, but I think that you're all out of moves. Got any last words for me? He asked. I don't know. Don't you have to go and fuck yourself? Naruto cursed. Ah, that's the spirit. Kisame said with a grin and swung his sword. That's when it was stopped by a toad wearing gauntlets. Naruto and Kisame were surprised by this until they heard a voice. You two have clearly underestimated me. When you are as well known as I, the ladies, hey, enough of your bullshit Rasengan. Pervy sage, we have a situation, so get your ass in gear. Naruto roared. Jiraiya gave him an annoyed look, but he did turn his attention to the 2 Akatsuki members. Itachi released Sasuke, who was as limp as a noodle. Turning his attention to Jiraiya, Itachi made a decision. Kisame, we're retreating. Even if we both engaged him, we will most likely die. We have all the time to make our move. Itachi said. All right, Kisame said, not happy about the situation. He then looked directly at Naruto. Listen kid, keep doing what you've been doing. It'll be real interesting when we meet again. With that said, the two vanished. Naruto was still on guard as he made his way to check on Sasuke. Jiraiya just sighed as he knew that this would only be troublesome. Back in Konoha, Anko was making her way toward the academy. She held 2 packs on her back and had a big smile on her face. She had gotten permission to seek out the other serpent contract. She figured that she would have to beg for that permission, but the idea of having the snake contract back in Konoha was just too tempting. They were willing to forget about the connection to Orochimaru if it got the village one of similar strength. Well, she didn't care. They even allowed her to pick her partner. Anko entered the academy and made a beeline for her favorite class. She opened the door right in the middle of the class. The students looked on and recognized the Tokubutsu Jonin. Hi kiddies. Anko greeted. Hi Anko-chan, they all greeted. They were all told by the woman to call her that. That's when Anko grabbed Iruka by the arm. So, I'm going to be borrowing your sensei for a mission. You won't be seeing him for a while. Don't worry, we're just going to pick something up and come right back. I'll bring your sensei back in one piece, okay? Anko asked. Are you two going to be alone on this mission? Asked a student. Yes we are. Anko said with a grin. The group, ooh, and started to giggle at that. That's when Konohamaru stood up. Don't let this chance go, Iruka-sensei. He said with a grin and putting up one of his thumbs. Use protection you two. Mogi added. Anko just smirked while Iruka just looked at the students that were corrupted by the woman. Tossing his pack, Anko dragged the unwilling Chunin out of the class. Bye kidders. Anko exclaimed. Bye Anko-chan, Iruka-sensei, have fun, they all said. The door was closed. Sakura was making her way to the hospital to check on Lee. She had been doing that a lot lately and was even requested by Guy-sensei to look after him. She was more than happy to do it. It helped in her training, so it was a win-win for her. She didn't even get into the hospital when she saw the person that she was supposed to be watch. He was outside, doing one-armed push-ups. She saw the nurse trying to get him to stop. Sighing, she made her way over to the area. Lee, what are you doing? Sakura asked with a tone. Lee froze in mid-push-up when he heard Sakura's tone. He was quickly to his feet, crutch and all. Sakura-chan, how are you today? Lee said nervously. I asked you a question. Did you forget what you promised me yesterday? She demanded. I'm sorry Sakura-chan. Lee said cow-toed. Sakura just sighed and gave Lee a disapproving look. Lee, you need to rest your body. You are seriously injured and in order for your body to recover, you need to rest. She said. But I cannot lose my youthful energy or I will go soft. Lee explained. You aren't going to go soft. I already have some exercises you can do in your room and it would not affect your recovery. I told you I would find a way and I have. Are you saying that you didn't trust me? Sakura asked sadly and with a pout. No, I trust you. I trust you, Lee said excitedly. Good, Sakura said happily. Now, let's get you back into your room and we can begin. Lee nodded and with unknown energy, got into the wheelchair that was there. Sakura just giggled at his antics before pushing him back inside the hospital. The nurse who had been trying for several minutes was stunned by what just happened. That's when she was joined by another nurse. I should have told you about her. She is the only one that he will listen to. He's got such a sweet crush on her. I was worried due to who his sensei is. The nurse said. Why aren't we paying her for that? Handling that boy is a full-time job. The first nurse said. His doctor teaches her medicine and physical therapy. In fact, I heard that she was researching a way to help him back up on his feet. The nurse said. They chatted all the way into the hospital. Jiraiya and Naruto were facing each other. Neither had a happy look on their faces. You know Naruto, your attitude is starting to wear on my nerves and is ruining my trip. How is this anyway my fault? I didn't know that Uchiha Itachi or Hoshigaki Kisame were members. I only knew about Orochimaru because I was keeping tabs on him and he left the group years ago. Jiraiya explained. Aren't you the village's spy master? Are you telling me that you couldn't even get one single name other than Orochimaru? Naruto demanded. I'm sorry that my information does not impress you, but I'm trying my best to get more information. You're just going to have to deal with it. Jiraiya countered. Deal with it. That's your damn answer. Why don't you do your blasted job, Ero Sennin? Naruto spat. I will not be questioned by a genin. You know nothing of the real world. A true ninja endures every challenge that comes at him. Jiraiya shouted. Don't you lecture me. What the hell do you know about what I have to endure? Before Anko, I used to be ignored and hated. I didn't know why, but I would always smile and keep going. Even after I learned why, I still get up and protect those who have ignored me. I don't know about enduring or hardships. Screw you, asshole. Naruto exclaimed and stormed off. Jiraiya sighed and pinched the bridge of his nose. Why did things have to be so complicated? He realized that he was out of line when he shouted at Naruto. Hearing his Gosun's words made him realize just how much he failed in his duties. He knew what Naruto endured and he was not happy. He even told his past sensei about it, but he turned it around on him. It only increased his guilt and highlighted his failures. After a while, he stood and went in search of the blonde. He found him training. He did not stop when he entered the field. Naruto ignored him and continued to train. Jiraiya knew this, but it would not stop him from speaking. Okay Naruto, that was a bad move on my part and I'm sorry. I don't know what you have been through and I have no right to tell you anything. Still, we have a mission that we need to complete. We need to put our differences aside and finish it. Can we agree on that? Jiraiya asked. Naruto stopped training and turned to face him. He was still angry, but he was taught to always think about the mission first. He huffed in annoyance but nodded in acceptance. Jiraiya grinned at the blonde. Good. As a sign of good faith, I'll teach you a jutsu. It's a powerful one too. What kind of jutsu? Naruto asked. Jiraiya held out his palm and formed a sphere of chakra. Naruto was stunned by the jutsu. He was even more surprised that he did it without hand seals. He looked at Jiraiya, who just had a triumphant smirk on his face. Chapter 38. Naruto looked at the water balloon before giving Jiraiya a look of annoyance. You can't be serious. Naruto said with a tone. I'm very serious. This is the first step to the Rasengan, the Yondaim's personal jutsu. Jiraiya explained. When Jiraiya told him and showed him the jutsu that he would be learning, he was excited. The added bonus was the fact that no one could copy it because it required no hand seals. However, there were 3 steps that Naruto had to learn before he could master this jutsu. He was holding the first step. You're telling me that the first step to this jutsu is to pop this water balloon? Naruto asked. I'm assuming that you know both the tree climbing and water walking exercises. Naruto nodded. This just is all about shape transformation of one's chakra to the highest possible point. It's a very hard jutsu to learn, as it took my student 3 years to master. I've broken it into 3 parts. This is the first part. Jiraiya explained while holding a water balloon himself. That's when Naruto watched with awe as the balloon burst instantly. Your first test is to burst the balloon using the water inside it. Good luck, kid. With that, Jiraiya left Naruto. The blonde sucked his teeth at what just happened before turning his attention back to the water balloon. Sakura was helping Lee with the physical treatment that she made for him. She could see that it hurt him a lot, but the young teen kept at it. He finally gave out after the 8th representative. It's okay, Lee. That was pretty good for a first try. Just rest for a while, Sakura said while doing some hand seals. Her hands began to glow a faint green and she placed it on Lee's arm. Lee could feel the pain lessen and was grateful for it. After a few moments, Lee was feeling a little better. Thank you, Sakura-chan. You have also come a long way from your training, Lee said. Sakura had a small blush from the praise. That's when someone entered the room. They turned to see that it was Ino. There you are. Why are you not checking on Sasuke? Ino demanded. What are you talking about, Ino Buta pig? Sakura asked hotly. I mean, forehead, Sasuke was just admitted into the hospital. He's in a coma or something. So come on, we have to see if he's okay, Ino said. Sakura was about to rush off but stopped herself. She turned back to Lee and realized that she was being a crappy friend. That was something that she wanted to change. She turned back to Ino. I can't right now. I'm helping Lee with his therapy, Sakura said. What? But Sasuke is hurt, Ino exclaimed. And I'm pretty sure that he has doctors all over him. I made a promise to Lee and I'm sticking to it. Now if you will excuse us, we have work to do. Sakura said. She pushed Ino out of the room and closed the door. Ino was left outside, stunned by what happened. Alone, Lee gave Sakura a look. I wouldn't have minded if you checked on your teammate. He said. I know you wouldn't, but I'm here to help you. So, are you ready to continue? Sakura asked. Yosh! Lee exclaimed. Sakura giggled at his antics and they continued with their work. Naruto faced a tree and was tossing kunai after kunai at it. He actually made a face of himself and was pleased with his work. That is what Jiraiya came up on, and he was confused as to why Naruto wasn't working on the jutsu. You taking a break or something, kid? Jiraiya asked. Huh, Naruto said, turning to him. The man pointed to the water balloons. Oh, that, I finished the first step like 2 hours ago. Yeah right, kid, tell me another joke. Jiraiya said. Naruto just walked over to the pile and picked up a water balloon. He walked back to Jiraiya and held the ball in his face. He then rotated his chakra until the balloon exploded in his face. Jiraiya spurted as the water hit him. He wiped the water off and looked at Naruto in shock. But how? Yeah, thanks for explaining to me that you needed to rotate the water in several paths. That's why it exploded like it does, right? Naruto asked with a tone. Okay, you got me there. How did you manage to even do that? He asked. With my chakra control issues, it was the main thing me Anko worked on. Hell, I still do. I know how my chakra flows, and creating other flows wasn't as hard as making them spin fast. So what's the next stage of this jutsu? Naruto asked. Jiraiya just sighed at the boy in front of him. While he was impressed with his understanding of the first stage, it took him 3 months to burst the balloon. Naruto only raised an eyebrow at the fact the man was hugging his knees and muttering, "It isn't fair," over and over again. A week later, Naruto was glaring at the rubber ball in his hand. This was the second stage of the Rasengan, and it was not as easy as the first. While the first part was about rotation, this part was about power. Naruto figured that he needed to use denser chakra to burst the ball. He was having a hard time doing so. He took a break and laid on the ground to rest. As he closed his eyes, a memory came to him. Flashback Naruto was rubbing his head and gave Anko a dirty look. She returned the look without a care. Shoot me all the dirty looks you want, but we are not leaving here until you do it right. Anko said with some stress. What's the point of this? I already know how to do the jutsu. Why should I work on it more? Naruto argued. You might know the jutsu, but it could be a whole lot bigger. Right now, your Doru Tiger Earth Flow River is like a small stream, but it could be a raging river. You just need to focus harder. If you keep giving me lip, I'm going to sick my favorite on you. Anko said with a grin. Like you wouldn't have anyway. Naruto said with a tone. With a sigh, Naruto stood and began to focus his chakra. He gathered enough before going through the seals. Doton, Doru Tiger. The earth loosens and a wild river of mud flowed down a hill. Naruto was a little stunned while Anko smirked. See, what did I tell you? Always listen to Uoni-san and she won't steer you wrong. Present Naruto opened his eyes and popped up to his feet. He took the ball in his hand and held it out. He began to focus his chakra into the ball. He kept going and going, until he could feel the ball begin to expand. Feeling that it was enough, he began to rotate the chakra just like he did with the first stage. With a roar, he slammed the ball into the ground. The backlash sent Naruto flying toward a thick tree. Lucky for him, Jiraiya was watching and caught him before he slammed into it. Jiraiya looked at the crater he created, then back at the boy he was holding. He learned the second part in a week. He is truly special. Anko deserves all the credit for this. Jiraiya threw the boy over his shoulder and took back toward the village that they were staying. Jiraiya's and Naruto's search for Tsunade was going good. In fact, they found the woman sitting with young woman and a pig. It took a while, but the pervert finally tracked her down to this town. When they entered, they saw a crowd pointing at the air. They learned that something destroyed the famous castle that the town was known for. The two decided to try and find Tsunade quickly. They checked only 3 bars before finding her. Tsunade, Jiraiya called out. The woman looked up and groaned in displeasure. Jiraiya and Naruto walked up to their table and sat down. What the hell are you doing here, Jiraiya? She demanded. Can't I come and see an old teammate? He asked. I've been getting that a lot lately. Besides, Don't you have more important things to do? I know that the village truly needs you. Tsunade said. And how did you find out about that, I wonder? However, that is not important at the moment. You're right, I am here on business. The village is in dire straits and we need your help. I am here to tell you that you have been chosen to become Hokage. Jiraiya stated. There was a moment of silence around the table. Shizune looked shocked at what was just offered while Naruto just sat there and waited. Tsunade gave Jiraiya a look before pulling out some cards. No thanks, she said. I figured that would be your answer, but I'm not leaving here until you agree. There is no one else who can take up the mantle. It'd have to be you. He explained. Why should it be me? You were Sensei's favorite. You should take up the hat. I'll pray for your safety, not that it will help you much. So, you're still on that same old story, huh? Why should I change my position? Anyone who wants to be Hokage is a fool who is looking for a way to die. Sorry, but I like to live a little bit more. Tsunade said. Hey, what are you talking about, Granny? Naruto said, cutting in on the conversation. You got something against the title of Hokage. Tsunade looked at the blonde before smirking at him. Like I said, only fools have dreams of being Hokage. It's nothing but a death sentence. It destroys lives, breaks up homes and destroys dreams. Take my advice, kid, give up on that dream of becoming Hokage. She said. Naruto looked at her before looking at Jiraiya. This is the bitch we came to get. You told me that she was a strong Kunoichi, not this sorry sad sack. Naruto said. Tsunade's smirk turned into a frown at what the boy called her. You've got a rude little mouth, brat. Tsunade said with a tone. I'd rather have a rude mouth than act like some type of victim. Let me guess, you lost someone or ones that you were very close with. I even bet that the goal was to be Hokage. But because they wanted to be Hokage, you think it is the reason they died, and so you think that the title is a death sentence. Sorry, but you're not going to get any sympathy from me just because you lost hope. I'm going to live my dream of becoming Hokage, and when I do, I'll send you a picture of my ass with the words, kiss it. Naruto told her. That did not sit well with Tsunade. It only infuriated her. You got some balls, kid. You better be careful or I'll take them from you. Tsunade snarled threateningly. Naruto stood on the table and got in her face. You want to go, old lady? We'll go. I just hope that you don't break a hip. Naruto insulted. Tsunade got up and stared at him in the eye. All right, brat, you want a spanking. I'll give you a spanking. Tsunade said. Jiraiya just sighed at the scene. He just hoped that this didn't get out of control. It only took the two adults 2.5 days to reach the Temple of the Snake contract. While Anko was feeling great, Iruka looked like death walking on Earth. He didn't really get much sleep due to the fact that he had to keep his vigilance against Anko's advancements. Don't get him wrong, Anko was a very beautiful woman, sexy as hell, but she was a little too forward. During their rest stops, she had tried to seduce him at least 10 times. 4 of those times, he caught a really good view of her naked body and she planned those. Iruka let out a yawn and Anko looked at him with a sigh. You know, it isn't my fault that you look like that. I told you we could share the bed. Anko said. You were naked and kept touching me in places that kept me up. Iruka said with a weak frown. Like you weren't happy. Anko said with a smirk and continued on into the temple. Iruka just sighed and popped a food pill in his mouth. They made their way through the temple, avoiding the deadly traps that were placed around the place. They soon made their way to the main chamber and they both let out a happy laugh when they saw the scroll. It was a beautiful looking scroll that looked like it was made of silk. They made their way toward the scroll only to feel something rumbling. From below, 2 snakes appeared and wrapped around the shine that held the scroll. The 2 narrowed their eyes at the 2. So, you have finally arrived. I figured Kaijin or Nagai would have informed you of this scroll. We will not allow you to free Suki Anko. You and your friend are about to die. With that, the 2 serpents launched themselves at the 2. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.